Hello friends, my name is Ashok Sijala. In this session, we have to learn the dynamic list to provide checkbox list control in ASP.NET with C#. So let us start. First, I share my laptop screen. Okay. Now here, uh, Microsoft Visual Studio Express for Web Edition is open and Basic Website Demo folder is already open. In File menu, we take new file. Here Visual C# and web form file is selected, and here assign the file name like dynamic underscore check list. Okay, dynamic checkbox list, and just press add button, and here first we provide the title like dynamic list, and here division tag we take one panel control like id p1 net server side, and grouping text that is the heading of panel like here dynamic check box list. Okay, now here take one checkbox list, just provide id chk list run at server side. Okay, and here one child tag is there, but we have to not use, that is the static. There are two static methods to supply the checkbox list to item, and two dynamic. Static means you can assign the list of design time. Okay, so we have to here provide that technique is a static time, but we in this session learn the dynamic list to checkbox list control. So we have to not provide here any list. And another static technique in design, here span button is there. So here edit item, and you can supply add here. So this technique is a static, so that technique we have to not use. We have to in a code behind file, coding file, but we have to here take like PR tag and take one label to print our checkbox selected item. So LBL answer net server side, and the text is like output. Okay, so here okay, we take not any button because we use the selected index change event of this checkbox list, and here enable auto post back means automatically post backing to the server side. This method used when we can selected index change event used for the checkbox or any group control in ASP.NET. There are 5 group control in ASP.NET like radio button list, checkbox list, drop down list box, bullet list, and list box. So here we use the generic list. Generic means we have to supply the single data type like string we have here used. So string and programming language. Generic and non-generic, two type of list. Like array list is a non-generic. You can assign array list as a different member, but here we take the generic list. So plist is a name of our generic object and assign the memory location. And in page load we first take one if condition, and that is page class dot IsPostBack. IsPostBack is a very important property. Whenever our code supply in server side only one time, that code to assign this if condition. So here we this programming language list to our checkbox list only one time. Otherwise, that list always execute page load event and that list is supplied. So duplicate value is existing. So here we provide the IsPostBack and IsPostBack also used in ADO.NET connectivity when you supply the connection string or any code at server side only once time. Okay, so here we take the language programming language object and add method is there. This is the first technique to provide the dynamic list to the checkbox. Second method is also there, so we have to check both. So here we supply like language and just copy this statement three times. You can choose for your or any other list you can also select it here like C++, then Java, and then C#. Okay, and checkbox list, that is our ID of CHK list, and that data source, that is the name of the property, and that property assign the P language, the programming language, generic string object. Okay, so that class object we assign the data source, and another is method checkbox list dot data bind. Our list supply to the checkbox. Binding means supply that list. So that is the we have here used data source and data bind. Data source is property and data bind is a method. Okay, so this list is supplied by the checkbox. That is the first technique. Second technique, in CHK checkbox list item member is there. Item member is 1D array, and that member called the add method same way. So here we supply the second technique, and that member we can ASP.NET like our programming language. And another also method is exist, and that name is insert. Okay, so insert we have to here specify the index like second means 0 and 1. In second position we have to supply the DS data structure. So here, okay, uppercase, okay, you can take any number of checkbox.item.add and checkbox list.item.insert. What is the difference between these two methods? Add method, end of the list, this ASP.NET insert, and insert method is index. We supply the one, that is second position, DS is exist in our list. So add and insert is a difference here. Index wise you have to insert your item dynamically at runtime, and add method end of the list, that element insert or add in the dynamic list at the runtime. So add versus insert is very easy to understand. Add is supply to the end of list and insert supply and index wise your item in the checkbox list control. Okay, so list is, there are two techniques. First we have to use the list generic list use, and that list we use using data source and bind method. Another two technique, you can also here take any number of add methods. So just we have to copy like here, just we copy these two lines and supply the another item to checking. So you cannot limitation, you have here provide any number of item like here we supply J2, okay, first uppercase, so J2 double E, and in next we have to supply like in fourth here like J sharp. Okay, so okay, or you can choose for your take your list. Okay, now our goal is successfully. Now we select index change event when print selected item. So we take one string variable like S1 and assigning one blank space to S1 string variable and taking one for loop like integer I equal to 0, I less than chk checkbox list dot item member, and that is count member is there, count property is there. So we directly use one how many number of item is exist in the list, that is written by the integer value. So we I less than checkbox list dot items dot count directly put in the condition, and here opening and closing brace for loop, and here provide one if to checking which item is selected or not. So checkbox list dot items of I, item of I previously said that that is item is a 1D array. So directly item of I, that is index I loop is repetition. So first I value 0, then 1, etc. So end of the loop all over selected, and that property name is selected, that is written as a boolean value. So directly we provide in the if condition. Okay, so here selected member is there, and S1 plus equal to, that is the shorthand assignment operator. So that full form is S1 equal to S1 plus checkbox list dot items of I dot provide the text property. So that text assigned to S1 string variable, and here provide one concatenation plus is a concatenation operator, and separation list we provide one blank space. So here our coding is so simple, and here we provide this after the for loop to the label text. So LBL answer is our ID of label, and that text property is there, and just provide as one variable. So I think that's perfect now. So here we use dynamic list provide to our checkbox list controlling ASP.NET, and so there is two technique. First we have to check execute this program, and after I summarize this point at the end of session. So here dynamic underscore check list.asp. So here we provide the first, that is the index, at second position ds is a peer, asp.net is last, j# is a fourth, so fifth position, and j2ee is the end of the list, because asp.net and j2ee add method use j#, and ds use the insert method. Particular index wise we have to insert at the dynamic list in the execute. Dynamic means whenever we execute our program, that time this list is appear, and static is the whenever we design time supply our member. So we just select, because we have to put the auto postback mode on. So we select, and our list is binding to the label text. So that is the so short technique and very easy to understand. So our list is growth. Okay, and one separation for blank space is appear. So that is the important point in ASP.NET. So I think I summarize this point. Okay, so here last we first in design part we take only checkbox list control and one label. There is no any other control, and panel is a container control, and we cannot use the button control to submit our list. Just put the auto postback property of checkbox list or any other controller. All controls supported the auto postback property of in ASP.NET. So, and use the on selected index change event. So directly here we understand, summarize our coding. There are two techniques to supply to the dynamic list to the checkbox list control. So we take the generic list as a string and give the name p language and allocate the memory using new operator. And here page class we use one property IsPostBack, means this coding execute in server side only one time. Okay, that is the meaning of IsPostBack property. And there are two techniques. First, we use add method of the generic list p class object, p language object, and then data source we have to assign list and bind, that is supply to the list, that is the first technique. And after that we have to use two time add item member and two time insert method. So you can your requirement any number of time you can take add and insert method. What is different, add is a end of the list and insert is a particular index wise insert to your member into the checkbox list control. And after that we have last coding here, select index change, and one taking one string variable assigning to the one blank. Here we can also provide the blank. And for loop taking I equal to 0, I less than checkbox dot item dot count, that is return number of count member in the list, and I plus plus, and check if selected item we have to only print. So here if condition is there and selected return, selected is a property of checkbox item member, and returning the bool, so we have providing the if condition. And s1 plus equal to, that is compound equal assignment operator, so you can say that that is s1 equal to s1 checkbox list chk list dot item of I dot text, and plus sign is concatenation and provide one blanks to separation our list. And last, after the for loop, label text assign the s1. So I think you can understand very well. This is so simple coding, and this is the end of my session. Subscribe my channel Ashok C. Jhala Academy and press the bell icon, never miss any updates, and wait for my upcoming video lecture. So thanks for watching, and Hare Krishna.